Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Music Impossible. I'm Professor Jim. This is AP Music Theory. We're going to start with lesson number 11 and minor scales. The minor scale section is going to be in two parts. Today, part one, we're going to learn what types of minor scales are out there, and we're going to focus on one in particular. Let's start by going over and reviewing our major scale. Our major scale, let's just do C major just for the ease of it, and we'll write out all the letter names of our C major scale here. And we remember that we have first, second, third. We're going to put the caret over the top. These are scale degrees: fourth scale degree, fifth scale degree, 6, and 7, finally coming back to 8, or first scale degree repeated if you're going to keep going. Now, there are three types of minor scales, and the three types of minor scales we have are natural minor, we have harmonic minor, and melodic minor scales. And we're going to go through all three of these in the coming lessons. Today, we're just going to be focusing right here on our natural minor. And the natural minor scale has a relationship to a major scale. Every minor scale has a relationship. We call that the relative minor because they're related, and they're related by key signature. And so, for example, in the C major scale, its relative minor is A minor. So the relative minor is always built on the sixth scale degree, And if C is the tonic note, that home note in C major, the tonic note in A minor, you guessed it, is A. So we're going to write these in a lowercase A minor. And so the A minor scale shares its key signature with C major, which means all of the notes are the same as C major, except that we start and end on A. And so if we were to play this A minor scale, we would play all of these notes in succession. That would be the A natural minor scale, natural minor. All right, let's try that with a different scale. Let's go over here and let's look at a G major scale. You might remember from the last lesson that a G major scale has one sharp, and that is F sharp. That seventh scale degree is F sharp. And if we were to label all of our scale degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, we know that the relative minor is always built on the sixth scale degree. So in the key of G major, its relative minor is going to be E minor. So the first scale degree is E, and we're just going to go right up the scale using the same key signature or the same number of sharps or flats as its relative major. So that second scale degree is going to be F sharp. Third scale degree is always the tonic of the relative major. And we're going to keep going right up A, B, C, D, and E as we repeat the tonic. So our tonic note in E minor is E. This is the natural minor. It shares the exact same notes as its relative major key. Now, in subsequent minors, we're going to learn about harmonic and melodic minors in the next lesson. We're going to learn that some of the notes change. One thing that does not change is the first 5 notes. The first 5 notes of a minor key does not change no matter what kind of minor it is. Natural minor, harmonic, or melodic. These 5 notes always stay the same. It's scale degrees 6 and 7 that get a little wonky depending on which type of minor we're talking about. Now let's go back and let's take a look at the major scale again. And we remember our major scale formula: whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So that is our major scale intervals between each note: whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So the distance between C and D was a whole step, you remember, D and E, whole step, and so forth. So our half step relationships in a major key was between scale degrees 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 right there. Those are our half step relationships. Let's go back and look at our A minor scale. Now, what's going to happen is the formula for these minor scales, for this natural minor, is going to be the same number of whole steps and half steps. There's still going to be 5 whole steps and 2 half steps. They're just now in a different order. And so for this natural minor between A and B, it's a whole step. Guess what? Between A and B and its relative major is a whole step. Between B and C, there's our first half step there. C and D, whole step. D to E, whole. E to F, there's our second half step there. And then we're going to end with 2 whole steps, like so. So that's our formula for the natural minor scale. Whole, half, whole, half, whole. The exact same number of wholes and halves as the major, but obviously they're going to be in different orders because we're starting on a new or different tonic. So you can apply this formula now to any note on the keyboard, and you can create a natural minor based on that. All right, let's go over and take a look at that on the music staff. Let's pick a key signature here with 3 flats. You might remember that 3 flats is E flat major. It is also going to be C minor. Why? Well, because C is the 6th scale degree in an E flat major scale, so therefore its relative minor is going to be C minor. And if we were to play the C minor scale, we would have those 8 notes. So there is your C minor scale. And by contrast, we can go ahead and put the E flat major scale just above that. So let's examine this whole step, half step thing with the minor scale. I'm going to use the keyboard down here. You see it lights up purple for us. And we know that the first interval in a natural minor scale is a whole step. So if we're going to go a whole step up from C, 1 half step to C sharp, and then the second half step to D. So there's your whole step, C to D. The next interval in the minor is a half step. So that purple D should go to the E flat, and there it is, right? There's your half step. Then we have 2 whole steps in a row, E flat to F, whole step, F to G, whole step. Here's our next half step right here. Goes to that A flat, G to A flat, B flat, and then C. And just like its relative major scale, our minor scales must have every single letter of the musical alphabet, some version of it represented in each scale. And we might notice that if we were to come back and put our major scale here again, that when we sing these notes, and we sing a major scale, we're going to learn more about aural skills and being able to sing solfege, but our typical major scale has do, re, mi, fa, sol. So if we're singing solfege with the major scale, it's going to sound like this. Do, re, mi, fa, sol. Those are the first 5 notes there. But notice the C minor right here. Do, re, may. We actually say may for that minor sound. Do, re, mi, fa, sol. Now, one last vocabulary word I want to throw at you today is something called the parallel minor, the parallel minor. All right, so let's take a look at this again. Let's go to, I don't know, let's pick D major. And the D major scale has the 2 sharps in it. There it is right there, D to D, D being the tonic. So if D major is the major scale, what is the parallel minor to that? And that is just using the same letter. So D major to D minor. D major to D minor, very different notes. If you were to look at it, the D minor scale is relative major is F major, 1 flat. So D is the 6th scale degree of F major. So therefore, it would be 1 flat in that key signature. This is the parallel minor. So if I was to play the parallel minor, we need to have a B flat there to make sure every note's right. There we go. So there is your parallel minor in D. D major here, D minor here, 2 very different sounds, obviously. So the difference between your parallel minor and your relative minor. The relative minor is a relative. It's related to a major key because it shares the same key signature. The parallel minor shares the same tonic. D major to D minor, very different key signatures every time. All right, that's it for today. It wraps up our natural minor study. Next lesson is part 2 of our minor scales, and we're going to look at melodic and harmonic minors. Stay tuned for that. See you at the next lesson.